Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Alex Avila with Love University, and we're back. I'm an author, psychologist, and speaker. Every week, we talk about how to love ourselves, others, and a higher nature, how to improve our finances, career, relationships, health, and spirituality. We've been talking about my book, Invincible You, Discover Your Inner Power and Achieve Your Heart's Desires, how to maximize your potential in every area of your life. And we're going to continue with that today, except we have a special treat. We have my producer, Jonathan, as a guest on the show. Welcome, Jonathan.
Thank you for having me. I'm very honored.
Well, it's really happy to have you, Jonathan. And you're taking over for our great producer, Reggie. Reggie was been with us for several years, and he moved on. So we do want to learn a little bit more about you. And I understand that you have a bachelor's degree in digital media from Cal State. Also, you are a musician and a singer, and also Latino. Tell us a little bit about that.
So I'm Latino. My parents were from Mexico.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool. So I went to school for digital media. So I learned how to make music and make sure it sounds good. Digital design, such as Photoshop, video editing.
Yes.
Social media, all that.
That's great.
All the online.
That's great. And you love music. You work with bands, I believe, and producing and all that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, we want to talk about some of these questions that we've been talking about from Invincible You, and I want to apply it to your life personally, Jonathan, as we get to know you. Off camera, you were saying that you used to be shy, and you overcame that, and you were a little bit like Reggie, our former producer, who was a shy guy, very nice, but he couldn't really make a lot of friends or relationships. Tell us about your shyness.
So when I was, looking over the podcast when I first started, I looked at a lot of the Reggie clips, and I'm like, I can kind of relate to this guy. Like, I was kind of shy, in the 2010s, like around high school when I first started college. But it was a big mental game for me to kind of overcome that. I had to learn to essentially take a bold interest in my hobbies and just like what I do, what I consider myself as a human.
Yes.
So
you had no real relationship or a lot of friends in high school, you're saying?
I had a couple friends, a couple relationships in high school, but it wasn't like, I wouldn't consider them like lifelong friends or relationships.
I see. And then something clicked in your mind. You said you went to college and you learned something about yourself. What did you learn?
So I feel like a lot of people say this, but when you go to college, you're not only learning about, math, history, you're also learning a lot about yourself.
Yes.
And I feel like, making connections, studying something that I really like, it helped me embrace my inner self, my invincible me.
I like that. The invincible you. And that's what we've been talking about, Jonathan, is there's a part of us that's very authentic and powerful. We've mentioned the word hara, which comes from the East. It talks about 2 inches below your navel, there's a point of intuition and power. And you can call it your gut instinct, right? Your naturalness. Many times we fight against that. Let's say we want to be an artist, but our parents want us to be an accountant. And then we go along that path and we're not happy. Or we get into the wrong relationship and we feel deep down it's not the right one, but we feel lonely. And we have to accept ourselves and embrace ourselves. And it sounds like you did that and you became a different person.
Yeah, but it took years of like mental rewiring and just finding friends that, helped me along the way and etc.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, I see that you're still maybe a little shy, but in a sensitive way.
Yeah.
I wrote a book called The Gift of Shyness. It talks about the positive sides of being shy. For example, you're a good listener, often can be empathetic and sensitive. The hard part about it is the self-conscious side, where we have like a self-observer that's always looking at us. You're going to make a mistake. You're going to say the wrong thing. So we need to become more of the actor, which is that spontaneous part of our personality, the free-flowing part. So, Jonathan, for example, think of who's your favorite actor or actress even in a movie that you maybe identify with or you like some of their qualities and characteristics. Who would you say that person would be?
I guess that's a good question. I guess like someone that I like a lot is, I guess, Will Smith.
Okay, Will Smith. Why do you like him as a character or as an actor?
Because in a lot of his roles, he's very humble. He's very, he's always trying to do something righteous, and usually for other people.
Okay, but I think he gets the ladies sometimes too. I remember, was it Hitch that he did that?
Yeah.
Okay, that was a good one. So that definitely, is he confident in, as well as being humble?
Yeah, I would say so. And I guess lately I try to exude that confidence and
yes,
but still overall being humble.
I like that. Yeah. So that could be maybe a persona. That could be your actor. Like if you want to transform your shyness, you maybe can visualize yourself as a Will Smith walking into a room being confident, but at the same time, you said being humble, kind-hearted, right? Sensitive person that wants to help people, but also has the confidence. And this is a very powerful technique. I recommend that Love University listeners, you try this week. Think of a movie role, an actor, actress that you admire, someone that you would like to perhaps model some of their characteristics. Maybe they walk a certain way, talk a certain way, have a certain sense about them, charisma, personality that you admire, and maybe you have some of that within you, and then go out and practice that, model that kind of characteristic in yourself. And the key to do this is when you reverse the observer into the actor, you change your persona. You're less self-conscious. That's one of the main things about the shy person is that they have a high level of self-observer or self-conscious. For example, how many shy people does it take to change a light bulb? None. They'd rather stay in the dark. And unfortunately, that happens sometimes. But again, the key is get out there and be your actor. Be that spontaneous part of you that flows naturally and accept yourself. Now, Jonathan, something else we've been talking about, I'm curious about yourself, is the idea of distractions. We have many distractions in the outside world and also the inner world. How does that affect you in your life?
So I feel like overall it's just pure pressure to maybe be as successful as my parents when they were my age. Because when they were my age, they had 2 kids, a house, cars, and I just have a car. And I just pay rent.
Yes.
They want me to have a house and grow up to be as successful as they were, but it's like times are different.
Okay, so you're like in the millennial age range, it looks like.
Yeah.
So you feel kind of a pressure to succeed that you feel that other people are putting on you. But you also mentioned something about other distractions, I think social media and other things. How does that affect you as a millennial?
I feel like as millennials, we're always glued to our phones, social medias, Facebooks, Instagram, Twitter, but also just entertainment such as YouTube, Netflix, because it's all just a click away. So it's constant distraction 24/7 in your pocket.
Right, and some of that can be good. I mean, we have convenience now. We have opportunities to meet people all over the world easily and connect with them. But then there is that idea that you may waste a lot of time, right? A lot of energy on these things that are not that valuable. And we talk about negative excitement in Invincible You, that we choose certain things that may be exciting, but temporarily. And then they take us out of the boredom, but then we feel bad. We wasted time. It was negative. Gossiping, maybe social media, things like that. How do you find that in your life, the negative excitement? Do you ever do that?
I feel like if I'm bored, I might spend hours on social media, play video games, do Netflix. It's entertaining for me, but it's not doing anything.
Yeah, and again, Jonathan, we talk about the internal energy people, so-called introverts and then extroverts. I wrote a book called Love Types, a bestseller on compatibility and love, personality. And the introverts actually like staying home and being on the internet and all that to a large extent. And they can be okay, except that they lose track of the outside world. They lose track of socialization and lose track of their passions as well, because their true passion may be something much different than just being on the internet all day. And that's important. And the other thing that becomes a problem, Jonathan, is restlessness and inability to relax and sleep well. Now, you were telling me something about that off camera, your sleep situation.
I feel like this goes for a lot of, millennials, people my age, that you just have those 3 a.m. thoughts where it's like, oh, what if I did this, 5 years ago? Or what if I said this instead of that? How would my life be different? So I feel like that's just part of the restless night syndrome, where you just toss and turn and your mind's too active still.
Yeah, we call it the regret self-defeating mind. Here's a clue for you, Jonathan. It's not just millennials, any ages. Older people can also have this, because we call this the monkey mind. In the East philosophy, the monkey mind is that chattering thoughts in your head constantly, right? I got to do this, I got to pay bills. Why didn't I do that? Why did I stay in that relationship? Why didn't I leave it? Why did I stay in that job? Why didn't I leave it? So we always have these constantly chattering thoughts. So it's hard to sleep at night. We live in an insomniac society where people wake up at night, they can't sleep very much. Do you do anything to help you with that, Jonathan?
To help me fall asleep, I normally just have maybe an hour before I go to sleep, maybe try to do something that my mind isn't active. So maybe I like to watch people talk to fall asleep, if that makes sense.
What do you mean by that? That's an interesting idea.
So say someone on YouTube telling me how to fix a car, a car or something. They go on and on, they're just talking.
Okay, kind of hypnotic, monotonous kind of voice.
Yeah.
But I would say maybe you can put some relaxation music. You know how they have those meditation tapes and things like that. You're more relaxed, you're feeling good. You're going to have a beautiful day tomorrow. And also have a little ritual before you go to bed at night. Turn off your technology, maybe take a hot bath, pray, meditate, read. Do something that's different than what you typically do. And get your mind in that relaxed state, and also think positive thoughts. Think of optimistic thoughts. What can I do tomorrow that's going to be good? How can I help people more? How can I love more? When you do that, you can start to relax your mind and move away from that preoccupation with the future and the past. They say the now is the most powerful moment, the power of now. Now, Jonathan, the other thing we were talking about earlier is frustrations. You had an interesting story about that.
Yeah, so this happened actually a year ago, I think. But during COVID, I was in school. I had a meeting with one of my professors, and I can hear. So in my house, I can hear that the street sweepers come by maybe a quarter mile away. So I have my headphones on, and I'm talking to my teacher, and then I just hear the street sweepers go by. I'm like, oh shoot, I gotta run outside in my PJs, move my car before I get a ticket. So I start running towards my car, and before you know it, I see a police lady putting a ticket on my windshield. Like, oh dang, now I gotta pay like $40-$60 just to pay this ticket. I rush back to my house, I slam the door, and I break the door window. So now I have to pay, now I gotta pay ticket.
Yes.
I gotta pay the door window, and I gotta explain it all to my parents. That's crazy about it.
Yes.
But
okay. So what's happening is you're compounding it. Your emotion compounded the situation, right? It made it worse through frustration. And as we were saying last time, is that when you have a problem like that, instead of focusing on it, you need to withdraw your attention from it. Because what you're going to see is that the problem is one thing, but your anxiety, hopelessness, and frustration is something else. And that makes it worse. We call that the second arrow. In Eastern philosophy, the first arrow is the problem, right? Whatever it is. In this case, you left the car there. The second arrow is your interpretation, your perception. Oh my God, what are you going to do? I'm angry. I can't believe this happened to me. Bam, you broke a window. Now the second arrow has made it worse. So you always have to focus only on the first arrow. The first arrow is the situation, right? You need to resolve it, but don't add the second arrow to it.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yes, you see that. It does now, right? $300 later or whatever it was you had to pay. So, and really it's a self-defeating mind, as we've been talking about, is the problem. The problem is not the problem, it's a self-defeating mind. Because the so-called problem can be fixed, whatever it is. You move your car, you take care of something, you fix something. But then you add that pain, that anguish, that aggression, and that frustration, and that becomes worse. As we said before, there's no other problem than being what you are. There's no other solution in being what you can become. And this brings us to a final point here, Jonathan, is the idea of happiness. Now, a lot of people talk about happiness and what is happiness? How do I get happiness? Is it something constant? Is it something maybe like a few moments in a day? So tell us about you and happiness. Are you a happy person, or how does it work for you?
So with a lot of my friends, I would go up to them and I'll be like, hey guys, I'm like really tired and sad today. And they'll be like, yeah, me too.
Okay, so you're kind of like reaffirming each other's misery kind of thing.
Exactly.
And I know you said it almost in a half-joking way, but ironically, even if it's half-joking, it does affect your mind, because we talk about affirmations, right? These kind of thoughts go into our mind deeply in our subconscious. And there's also something, Jonathan, called mood contagion, which means that moods can be contagious. Have you ever noticed that you're around someone who's very negative? You can start to feel a little bit that way, or down or depressed or tired. Or someone who's very happy and energyful, you can start feeling the same way. You can also infect other people with the positive moods as well, or negative. So this is a good exercise for you, Jonathan, and our listeners, is to go out this week and say, I'm going to affect people with positivity, with good mood, with cheerfulness. Even though I'm a little tired, maybe a little down, I'm going to put on what we call the happy face, or the positive energy, and I'm going to see how people react to me. Because many times they will pick up on your positive vibe, and they will start to smile a little bit more when you smile. They will start to laugh a little more when you laugh. And interestingly, there is a theory called the facial feedback hypothesis, which means that when you smile, even though if you don't feel like it, you release certain brain chemicals that actually make you feel better. It actually works to improve your mood. So you can even go into the mirror. In fact, let's do this right now, Jonathan. Okay, we're sitting here, so I want you to smile. Start laughing. Now, how do you feel right now as we're doing this exercise?
I feel like it's a little bit of a relief. Yeah.
Yes, it can be. And if you go to the mirror, for example, start jumping up and down like a hyena or do robot sounds, it's kind of silly. You might think, well, this is weird. But actually, it can help you feel better because your facial expressions actually can affect your brain chemicals to make you feel more joyous. And you know the phrase, act as if, right? If you act happy or joyous, you can start to feel that way as well and then affect other people in a positive way. So, Jonathan, this is great that we've had this little time to talk. And I want to broaden this out to other people here listening today. You can become invincible. As you travel higher up this invincible you mountain, as we call it, you will see that your life is transforming as you help transform the lives of those around you. As you learn these principles, however, you may be asking yourself, how do I know I'm making progress in this invincible life? Here are some clues. First of all, you have more consistency of effort. You keep on track in your invincibility work for longer periods of time. You have more patience, discipline, and desire to reach your self-development goals, such as being happier, more loving, and more authentic. You become a true mental magician as you control not only what you want, but also what you don't want, the self-defeating mind. Another clue is that you are calm when you realize that your self-defeating nature tries to shove itself back into your life. You see its mechanical movements as it tries to bring you down. The good news is that your new invincible mindset maintains full awareness of the self-defeating mind's deceptions. You can stop it at its own game by saying no when it tries to enter you. Another clue, you don't stop working on yourself when things are going good. You know that you will have down moments, times of temptation, weakness, and doubt. But remember this, the self-defeating mind has been with you for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 or more years, and it won't let go of you that easily. Yet the good news is that you now have powerful weapons at your disposal to defeat the self-defeating mind. You have an awareness of the way the self-defeating mind works. And best of all, you have the supreme taste of the invincible mind. Once you have sampled the power and beauty of the invincible mind, you will not be so attracted to the fake or artificial anymore. You will want the invincible mind with you on a daily basis. Also, you will begin to rise above petty dissatisfactions. As we were talking with Jonathan about some of the frustrations he's had, when your life is dominated by the self-defeating mind, many things can bother you. A friend's snide comment, a traffic jam, a computer malfunction, a loved one's critical comment. When you live from the self-defeating mind, many things can make you feel mad, scared, or sad. You can't help yourself because the self-defeating mind creates a haunted house in your mind that dominates your thoughts. On the other hand, things are much different when you see things from your invincible mind. Now, the things that used to bother you, critical comments, mechanical malfunctions, temporary delays, seem trivial and unimportant to you. With your new invincible mindset, you realize that you are neither your choices nor your desires. Your true essence is something much higher. It is based on recognizing your invincible self, the you that is powerful, content, loving, and happy, despite the obstacles and challenges you face. As you become more of the invincible you will be able to help others make their own journey to excellence and happiness. The beautiful part of the invincible you life is that it is one of harmony, sharing, and connection with your fellow human beings. You will not be lonely when you build your life on invincible you principles because your aim is to spread love to others without expectation. You are helpful and loving to others, not because you want to win their approval, liking, or love, but because you are a naturally giving and loving person who is extending your positive energy outwardly. Now, as you climb up the invincible you mountain and begin to have a life that is truly worth living, you will come to an amazing realization. Invincibility was always within you. You simply needed to recognize who you were, a person of strength, beauty, love, and power. Congratulations. You are about to graduate from Invincible University. It's your turn now to take your education and help transform the world as you transform yourself. Blessings and love on your journey to the real you. So, Love University students, I want you to go out this week. Remember that you are invincible, that you can overcome these frustrations, anxiety, distractions. You can be your authentic self, as we're talking about with Jonathan, to liberate yourself from shyness, inadequacy, frustration, and fear, and to go out in the world and extend loving energy without expectation. And remember that you are invincible. Here's a little something to help you remember that you are invincible. One day I saw the person I wanted to be, but they were stronger, smarter, and better than me. I felt envious. Why couldn't I be? They stood strong. I stood weak. They were victorious. I felt defeat. But then as I looked closer, I saw things from a different perspective. I realized I was only looking at a clouded reflection. In reality, there was never anyone else. It was always me. At last, I saw the truth. I am invincible. I am free. So Love University students, go out this week and be invincible, be free, and be loving. If you want to be on the show, if you have a show question, you can reach us at 310-226-8090. Write to us at loveuniversitylove@gmail.com. Visit us at loveuniversity.love. You can follow us and like us on Facebook and Instagram at Love University Podcast. You can also follow us on Twitter at Love Letter U Podcast. And for our sister podcast, Invincible You, you can follow us and like us on Facebook and Instagram at Invincible U Official, and follow us on Twitter at InvincibleU_. You can download both podcasts at Podbean, Spotify, SoundCloud, and iTunes. So Love University students, it's been a wonderful day today with our new producer, Jonathan, and we really appreciate having him on board to help us help you live a loving and powerful life. Until next time, this is Dr. Alex Avila with Love University. Put away your notebooks, your iPads, your phones, and you're now dismissed. Until next time.